Hey, my name is Peter Metzger, and one of my goals for this year, 2017, is to do more creative projects, including YouTube videos. So I'd like to put up at least 30 videos this year across whatever channels I decide to use. And for the first one, today's January 1st, I'm going to be using my dad's old lathe to make a wooden top. So watch along and see how it goes.
Hi again. I just want to mention two things. One is that I don't have any real formal training on this thing, but I've used it a fair amount and I think I found a way to use it that works for me. Second thing is that I have a tendency to be a perfectionist when it comes to videos and want to have everything perfect, but that just slows me down and I end up So I'm recording this with a webcam in my garage, and my brother-in-law sharpened up some of the tools for me because he has a nice grinder to sharpen, and he also gave me some red oak scrap that he cut to square, about 3-inch square. So that's what I'll be working with today. And the first thing we need to do is get some kind of straight edge, like this will work fine, and find the center of the block. And if you don't have the exact precise very center, it's fine because you're going to be turning it into a circle anyway, so it'll work out. You just need to be pretty close. And now I need to adjust the lathe to be wide enough. There we go. Take it back a tiny bit more. Second thing is I'll need to move the tool rest out. So I line up the middle of that center piece right there. And press it on, and then there's a little point in the middle of this, and so I just turn it till it's in the center there. There we go. So that's locked. So it's not going to turn, and as I press it in more and more, it's going to jam it onto this. There's 4 spines on this side. I back it off, and I like to put a little drop of some kind of machine oil on this end, and I'm just using hair clipper blade oil. And I just put a drop on there so that it spins smoothly and doesn't get too hot. It's able to turn more freely. You got to have enough tightness to hold it in place, but you want it to be able to spin too, obviously, otherwise it won't work. So now lock down the depth with this piece here. I'm going to turn it out to where one of the corners is closest to the tool rest. I'm not sure what the proper clearance is here, but I find that if I have at least an inch or two, that's pretty comfortable. I'm just going to turn it around and make sure it's good on all sides, and it is. The motor on it is out of an old pump, Burke's Super Turbine Pumps, turbine, whatever you want to do. All right, so now we turn it on, it should start spinning. There it goes. Took a second to really kick on there. And the first thing I'm going to do is, tuck these strings inside my shirt so they don't catch on the lathe. And then I'm going to use this large round gouge to sort of flatten out the sides, turn it into a circle from being a square. I don't know if this is the correct tool for it, but I think it works pretty well, so we'll just give it a try here. You got to be very gentle at first. Only take off a little bit because the corners as they fly around are hitting this pretty violently, so you have to just be careful with it. You can see I'm just gently moving back and forth, taking off a little bit at a time. Let's turn it off here and see. So as you can see, it's getting, tighten that up a little bit. As you can see here, it's getting pretty close to round. Still a little bit of a flat side there and there and there. not so much there. So it must not have been exactly on center, but let's give it another try. Just going to take a little bit more off here. Take another look here. That flat spot's gone. A little bit left here. Just use this foam sanding block on it to smooth it out a little bit. Alright, that's not perfect, but it's smoother, and we can get going a little further in. So for the shape of the top, I made 2 of these so far. The first one I did out of Douglas fir, and that one I made kind of fatter at the bottom and then with a longer stem on top to spin, and that seems to spin pretty well. Second one I did out of red oak and made that one kind of more of a traditional top shape where it's wider at the top and smaller at the bottom. And it works okay, but it becomes unstable pretty quickly. So I'm going to go with kind of the first shape, but using red oak, which should be a little bit of a stronger wood, and it should come out smoother as long as I do it right. So I'm going to make the bottom of it right here. And then probably make the wide point about here. That's the wide point. And I'm going to cut it in pretty quickly here. Stem I'm going to have come up to probably about here. So this way. That's going to mark kind of where the top will be. The top of the top. Alright. Now as it gets thinner, it also becomes weaker, of course, because there's not as much material there. So I want to try to shape this bottom a little bit more before I take the spindle part of it down too much. So I haven't played with this thing very much except for just recently for years, so I'm trying to remember and get a feel for what angle is best. As I recall and as I'm finding now, it seems to work best to come in basically straight or angled down just slightly, which is a little counterintuitive because it feels like you should be like up, like you're skimming along the surface, but that seems to produce a lot of this kind of shaking type of action. So like I said, I have no formal training in this, but it's fun to mess around with. So there, we're just kind of cutting right in to get this shaped up underneath and get some separation there. Oh, the other thing I was going to do is move the tool rest up, because now that the workpiece is a bit smaller. That's good. All right. There's where I'm going to have the top of it. Stop. I was going to just use this as a way to kind of shave down from here over. But I kind of like the way that shoulder looks. I might round it over just a little bit. Okay, I think I might leave it. There's the overall shape of the top, right there. I feel like it's not in focus, but you get the idea. What I'm trying to do now is very carefully shave it down to where it'll cut itself off. So I haven't figured out the best way to do this yet. There's probably some special tool for it. As long as I'm gentle and I take it very slowly, I get close to having a good point at the bottom. Oh, it's starting to go on. There it goes. Alright. So you can see the bottom, there's a fair amount of pitting and sort of tear out. So I'm not sure if it's just that my bad technique or if it's the wood or if it's the tool. But this should still spin okay. What I'm going to do then is clamp it to a workbench and just cut it off right here. So I'll go ahead and do that and then we'll try it out. Here on my messy workbench I just clamped the side of it. I don't know if this is the best saw to use, but I'm going to use it. I started on it obviously, as you can tell. There it is. And now we just give it a spin. So pretty good, fairly stable. Oh, there it goes. I'm Peter Metzger. Thanks for watching along. You have a great day, and you'll see me later.